What's going on, everybody? So, another day in the books, another day of solid trading, another day of four opportunities. We actually had five, but we'll get to why I didn't necessarily like that fifth one. And let's jump right into this. So, as you can see, we changed it to white arrows, a little bit easier for you to see. I'm actually going to zoom in and try to let you guys see as much as we can here. But we'll go over here to the open. And pretty much right off the open, we tried to go higher and then we made a nice move down. Ended up getting long, got a nice little scalp. And that was almost the entire move there. I got in pretty much at the bottom of the candle, moved back up, and then we ended up trailing back down lower. So pretty good trade there. Made a move back to the upside, didn't quite get up to where we wanted it. And then all of a sudden just reversed off those highs all the way back down to the lows over the course of those next 20 minutes. Got a nice shove down through the current lows, and that's where we ended up taking a trade. This candle was actually a pretty big wick, and we nailed the entry on that. We actually marketed into this, and it popped right back up, and we had a pretty decent trade there. Went sideways for a little bit. It did try to go lower, and ultimately it did work its way back up. And then we pretty much went sideways all the way until over here. And over here is where Fed Powell started talking at 12 o'clock. So as you can see, this first candle was all kinds of crazy. I think it went down first and then shot up, and then we kept going up and pretty much went right into the bands for the most part. Didn't quite get there, obviously, but I had this line drawn from here and it started to jiggle a little bit. And I was like, oh, it looks like we're going to have some problems going into the highs. And it was pretty much a straight up move from over here. And I was like, let's give it a shot. Now I did downsize, or no, I didn't downsize on this one. I ended up downsizing over here because of this one. Took three contracts and it ended up going up against this. I didn't add because, like I said, we broke this area and we're talking about Powell talking on news. So I was getting a little sketched out. I wanted to make sure it didn't just keep spiking. I didn't want to just add blindly. I wanted to find a top, but when it found the top, it pretty much shot straight down, gave us our fill. I was just looking to kind of get out of the trade break even, a little small gain if possible, because I was like, I don't want this to come down, try to use this as support now, and then make its way higher all while Powell was talking. So was happy to just get out of that trade green. Had I started with smaller contracts, probably do get an ad. And as you're going to see, that's what kind of played part over here in the last trade that we took. However, while he was still talking, I actually think he took a break from talking. There was some kind of protest going on at the meeting, and that person got thrown out or something. But then he started talking again, and it started going back up. Now, keep in mind, the previous high was here. We can go ahead and draw these lines real quick. Or you can see I had that line drawn. And then we had this high, and let me actually hide those because they can get in the way quite a bit. So as it was coming up to make this high, it felt like everyone that was getting short here or all the way through here was kind of trapped. And it went up, made this high. I had an order sitting up where somewhere around here, didn't get that spike, and then it just started going sideways for 2 to 3 minutes. And it just felt like they were trapping all these shorts. So I wasn't about to jump in right here looking for this move. I was waiting for it to actually pop off and give us a real move. And that's where I was looking to get in. Even when you put the bands on, you can see that we were pretty close and we were actually inside that range. So technically we could have looked to start a position here. But again, based off of the previous information and the previous data that we had looking left, I was really looking for a much bigger move there and we just didn't quite get it. Now, based off of that, it rejected and we went straight down to the lows. Now, looking this way, you can see this was low a day here. We also had a pretty key area here, which I thought was we were going to bounce off of there, which we did temporarily. And then that's where we continued down, got down to the lows. And I figured after such a big move with really no relief bounce yet, we would probably attempt to bounce here. So once I felt like it was starting to stop, I jumped in. And as you can see, we did get a little bit of a bounce, but I think I had my order up here somewhere, and then it pretty much just went straight down. Now, keep in mind, I did start this with one contract because I learned from my lesson, if I'm going to trade news, I need to start smaller. And this thing kind of just kept going. So 1-1, we did a 2 down here, and we're pretty much playing the waiting game at this point. And it kind of put in this candle here. And this red candle here is actually where I decided to add 2 more. So we ended up with 6 contracts total. And I was basically saying if we break the bottom of this candle after it finished this way, I'm done with it. I'm just going to cut it for a loss. But it gave back the day plus some. I think it would have been like a $300-400 loss, and we were up like I don't know, like almost 100. So would have ended up down like 200. It would have sucked, but it wouldn't have been the end of the world. Definitely manageable moving forward. But we did eventually get the bounce, which it was frustrating because on this candle here, our order was sitting pretty much right above it. And it went up, almost got us out, didn't. It actually came down and finished down towards the lows. Thankfully, it did not go lower. I was ready to cut it. Thankfully, the very next candle popped right back up, gave us that fill. We actually held on to one contract, and I had a mistake here because I had three selected in my quantity. So I put a sell order out. I only had one contract left looking to try to get this move here, but I put it out and I accidentally hit it and got filled three contracts. So I actually ended up short two contracts. I took it off right away, thankfully. That's why we have a buy arrow here as well. And then it shot up and did this. I mean, we would have been fine because it came right back down, but would have been a little hectic seeing us go for the ride there for a split second, especially when I was looking for that pop on the long side. But I ended up taking it off right before it did this. And yeah, as you can see, it did end up working out. And now we're just kind of going sideways. But yeah, pretty decent day. We ended up after commissions, $257 between the two accounts, 130 basically on both. I'm just copy trading right now. So I really, they're going to be about the same moving forward. And when we get funded, I'm probably going to keep doing the same thing because I'm only looking to take the same trades. So I might as well trade them all the accounts that I have. And moving forward, that's what I'm going to do. So again, I'm live every morning. I have been. If you want to come join me, we are starting to grow just a little bit. I think we've went from the usual 4 or 5 people to today we're at 9, 10 people. So come join us, ask questions, join in. Let me know what you're thinking. If you're trading futures, if you're trading these prop accounts, like how you've done with these prop accounts. Have you gotten any funded? Have you gotten any payouts? That would be awesome to hear just to keep the motivation going for everybody. Let's kind of work at this together. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. If you do have any questions or comments, there is the 71% as well right now. If you use the code or the link that's down in the description, you can always leave those comments, concerns, and stuff down in the comment section below or find me on Discord. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace.